Okay, this tutorial is going to be about how to make containers. Um, as you can see, I have up here just a whole bunch of different words, and there are different kinds of nouns. Some are proper and some are common. So I'm going to make a container that's going to have the students classify or sort these into the right container based on whether they're proper nouns or common nouns. And you can do containers with any kind of sorting or categorizing type of activity. So I already have up here, because we already know how to enter text. The main thing about entering text is you just want to make sure that every single word is its own text box. You don't want to have a text box with all your words, because you have to be able to drag them individually. So you just need to make sure that they're all their own, and you're able to drag them individually from each other. Okay, so the first thing we want to do after we have all of this up here, you want to go and you want to select the shape tool. It's right here, if you remember. And pick out any kind of shape you want. It doesn't really matter as long as it's big enough to hold whatever it is that you're going to be creating. So I think I'm going to do one like this. And again, I want to set my color. I'm going to make it a nice green, I guess. And then I'm going to draw my shape. And that is my container. Now, instead of trying to draw it again and getting it exactly the same size, I'm going to do something a little differently. I'm going to go to my select tool and then select the shape, and then you have this menu come up ahead of it like this. And then what I want to do is I want to go to this one. You see where it says duplicate? I'm just going to select it, and bam, I have the second one. And that way it's perfectly symmetrical, they're the same size. Okay, so now that I have that, I want to just probably at this point go ahead and label them. Now that I have them labeled, I have my nouns, I have my containers. Now I have to make them work for what I need them to do. So again, I want to go up to my select tool, and I want to select the shape. And now that I'm doing that, I need to go back over to the properties browser. And whenever you have something selected, and then you go over to the properties browser, this is going to be the properties for whatever it is you have selected. If I don't have anything on the page selected, then the properties will be for the entire page. And then I want to go down, and if you notice on the properties browser, this one right here, if you go down, you see this word here, container. Put the little plus next to it. And right now it says can contain, and it says nothing. I want to change that to keywords. And the reason I choose keywords is because all of these nouns are either going to be common or proper. So I'm going to assign each one of these words here to say common or proper. So it's going to be keywords, and then okay, and then after I select keywords, I come down contain words. So now I need to add the word that I want to allow it to contain. So I'm going to open up contain words, the little three dots there, and it pulls up this box. So I have to add in the word that it can contain. And you can add in the entire word, or you can add in just a letter. It doesn't really matter as long as you understand what it's going to be. So since this is the common container, I'm going to just have a C. And that one's done. Now, contain rule, completely contained. All this means is that you have to drag the entire word inside. If you drag just part of it inside, it's not going to work. You have to drag it completely inside the container. So I'm going to say completely contained. Reward sound. This is if they drag it into the right container, do they have a special sound? I find the students love this, so I'm going to change that to true. And then I need to just pick out my sound. If you come into your resource packet, into your sounds, you'll have all these different categories of sounds. I'm going to go into effects, and I'm going to choose explosion, because they love explosions. Okay. And return if not contained, I'm going to select true. What this means is if they drag a word into the wrong container, it'll pop it back to its original location. It won't allow it to stay there. Alright, so now I have this container set up, and I'm going to go ahead and do the same for this container. Okay, so I have this one selected. So now my property browser is going to go over to all the properties for this shape rather than this shape. So again, I'm going to go down to container, can contain keywords, contain words. This time I have to hit the add button, and I'm going to say P. Completely contained, reward sound, I want to true, reward sound location, and I'm going to pick something different. Instead of an explosion, how about a horn? And then return if not contained, I'm going to say true, and then that one's done as well. Now that we have our containers set up, we need to also match up our words with the same keywords that our containers have. So now I want to go ahead and select each word. I'll start with man, and I know man is common, so as you can see the property browser changed for the properties for my selection, which in this case is man. You're going to go down to identification. It's going to be up here. There we go. So you want to go, it's at the very top, and you want to open it up with a little plus. And then I want my keyword to be C. Now, my keyword for man matches my keyword for common. And I'm going to do that just for each one of these. For slide L, I want my keyword to be P. Right, and now everything should be set up for our containers. I'm going to go test it out now. Whenever you test it out, you just need to make sure that you're not on design mode. I'm not on design mode, so it all should be just fine. Some nice sound here. Okay, that's one thing we need to talk about. You see how when you bring it in here, it disappears? This is where we're going to deal with layers. So let me show you how to fix this problem right here. Okay. Layers, just basically think about it like a transparency, where you lay transparencies on top of each other. You want all of these words to be on the top layer so that when you drag this into the container, you can still see the words. So what we simply need to do is we need to go over here to our object browser. And do you see how it has this little dotted square? It's showing you that you're going to be dealing with layers, because think of this like a transparency on top of a shape. So we're going to click on the object browser, and now I want all of my words to be on the top layer up here. So if you look, and it'll highlight when I hit this. If you notice, this text 9 goes with proper. It's not so important to have these on the top layer because I'm not dragging these anywhere. This would be this one. So all of these will be my words. Text 7 is Rex, so what I want to do is I want to go ahead and drag this to my top layer. Text 6, you see when I select it here, it also selects it here so that I can see which is which. Text 6. Let me go ahead and save it. Now let me test it out. Okay. And there you have it. That is how you make containers.